Well, Wilson says there was no explosion, that no one on board at all was hurt. And as you can see, the plane did eventually land safely.
Well, Donald Trump sending mixed signals this past week, indicating he could soften his mass deportation plan. During the primary, he talked of booting the estimated 11 million undocumented immigrants in the U.S. And now it sounds like he's getting back to that original message. Here he is yesterday in Iowa.
On day one, I'm going to begin swiftly removing criminal, illegal immigrants from this country, including removing the hundreds and thousands of criminal, illegal immigrants that have been released into the United States and United States communities under the incompetent Obama-Clinton administration.
So let's talk about Donald Trump's immigration policy with A.J. Delgado, a conservative columnist, an attorney, and a Trump campaign surrogate. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So Mr. Trump had promised a deportation force to kick out all illegals. He's not talking about that anymore. On Tuesday, he said, we're not looking to hurt people. He says the focus will be on illegals who have committed crimes during their time here. Your reaction?
He's absolutely right, and that's been consistent with what he has said for the past year. Mr. Trump's focus and priority has always been the deportation of the thousands of criminal illegal aliens that roam our streets. So the plan continues to be the same as it was in the proposal he put out last August. It's number one, build that wall and enforce the border. Number two, deport the criminal illegal aliens. And number three, make sure that people who are here illegally leave and come back the right way. There really isn't a change whatsoever, and the American public is very pleased both with the plan and with the consistency of it.
And let's talk about some of the details of his policy. Those who overstay their visas will be quickly removed through an exit-entry tracking system. He says he'll strengthen E-Verify, the system that ensures prospective employees are actually eligible to work here. Illegals will have to pay back taxes, and that wall will still be built. So you believe that this policy is consistent and that it's going to work for him in this election?
It absolutely will, especially when you contrast it with Hillary Clinton's policy. I'm surprised by the little amount of scrutiny that her immigration plan, or lack thereof, is receiving. This is someone who has admitted that her policy towards illegal immigrants will actually be far more lenient than Obama's. She has said that the only folks that she will focus on deporting are those who have violent records or are terrorists. What does that even mean? There are tens of thousands of criminal illegal aliens who would technically not qualify as having a violent crime record, but for instance have committed fraud. Those would not be deported under Hillary Clinton's plan. That's alarming. So I think the real story here is to focus on the lack of a plan she has and the few details, just how bad they are for American safety.
So despite the common misconception, you say polls show that documented Hispanic Americans are actually more opposed to illegal immigration than Caucasian Americans and other Americans. Why is that?
Well, there's proof of it. If you check a recent story, perfect example, Esquire magazine headed down to the border to speak to Hispanics and Anglos who live on the border. And they found that those that were most adamantly opposed to illegal immigration and most in favor of the wall were the Latino Americans who live on the border. And the reason is simple. It's because it's the Latino Americans who are most disproportionately impacted by illegal immigrants who come in and take our jobs, bring down our wages, compete with us for those jobs. Obviously, illegal immigrants tend to move to communities where there already is a heavy Hispanic focus for obvious reasons. And so we suffer that detriment far more even than the Anglo population does. All Latino Americans want is a fair shot at jobs and a strong economy, and that's what Mr. Trump is offering.
Yeah, you wrote recently that you're constantly asked, how can you, as a proud Latina, support Trump? You say that question is loaded with all kinds of errors.
Well, it's insulting because really it's insulting to say to someone that your number one issue, being a patriotic, law-abiding Latino American, is making sure that someone you've never met can cross the border and stay here and violate our laws. That's absolutely not what we support. What we support is safety, national security, education, and number one, jobs and the economy. And Mr. Trump's position on trade deals, on bringing back the manufacturing jobs we've lost, on preventing outsourcing of jobs, that is heaven to our ears. So we're very much in favor of him, and the polls are showing that. He's doing quite well with Hispanics. Last poll I saw,
LA Times was at 36% with Latino-American voters.
All right, A.J. Delgado, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Eric?
Well, Patty Ann, mixing faith and politics on the campaign trail. Now, Senator Tim Kaine is using his Catholic roots to drum up support for